Hey everybody, this is EverCryTCG here. How's it going? Time for more spoilers, because you guys like this series. Well, let's just jump right into it. Our first card for today is Teriel, Mystic of the Mountain. The legendary ally for the Earth element. As you can notice, the legendary keyword isn't there. We'll be fixing that later. We still might change this because his ability may be too powerful. We would like to see. You guys can put some input on this. His ability reads, Elves in your hand and deck cost 1 less mana for the rest of the game. So we're probably going to reword this. It's going to be legendary, and when this card is summoned, Elves in your hand and deck cost 1 less mana for the rest of the game. So this is going to be a new archetype. If you guys are familiar with archetypes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Chaos Galaxy has, what are those, Manta Rays? Manta Ray archetype. We're going to have Elves. Another archetype is the Freeze archetype that I showed you a couple, actually like 3 days ago, the last spoiler. So, Elves are going to be an archetype, probably not this set. Probably give them like a set or two more, and then they'll become powerful. So, I'm labeling right now this card is terrible. It's going to be a 1-star. 6 mana for a 400/500 is not great. There's only like one other elf card in the entire game, so let's just put pause, and every time there's going to be a new elf card, we're going to look back on this and see how good it becomes. But yeah, love the artwork. I'm really proud of that one. Moving on to the next card, Starlight Raven. More Earth. 200/200 flying bird for 4 as a rare with Death Wish. Now, I don't think you guys are familiar with Death Wish, so let me explain. Death Wish is a uniform ability, which means it's not bound to one element. It's not just an air ability or just a water ability. Any element can use it. So the Death Wish is, when this ally attacks, choose one. Both players draw 2 cards, or both players discard 2 cards. So when it dies, you can draw 2 cards or discard 2 cards. So let me explain kind of the thought process behind this. So when it dies, and you need to catch up, and you're running low on, I don't know, quote, gas, and you're losing the game, you would probably choose to draw 2 cards. But if it dies and you're ahead, you would choose to discard 2 cards. So, I mean, the only downside is that both players have to do it. So, I mean, it's okay. It's a cool card. The artwork, I think, is pretty cool. The ability isn't the most powerful thing in the universe, though. So I'll rate it a 2-star. I might be wrong on that, but it doesn't seem that powerful because its ability is just a bit shallow, I think. Next Earth card is Jungle Python, artwork by Rivals. It's a 200 attack, 100 health for 2 snake with mechanic Poisonous. This is the Earth mechanic for Whispers of Winter. When this ally deals damage to another ally, destroy it. So it's an insta-kill. Whatever it touches, it dies. This card is pretty good. 2 mana for a 200/100 that insta-kills anything is pretty solid. And the fact that it has such low health it means it's going to be weak against fire. Mainly because fire can just smite it. With Draith's ability to pay 2 fire mana and deal a 100 damage attack. But with Janji's ability later on to give it +100/+100, this thing can become a bit of a threat because it won't be as easy to kill. So I'm really hyped about this card. This card seems pretty good. You're going to at least run 1 in every Earth deck right now. Mainly because it's like instant removal. It can't attack the turn it was summoned, but that's okay, I guess. Yeah. Jungle Python, the snake ability down there isn't, not ability, snake type, I guess, isn't really relevant for anything. But it's a really good card. 3 stars. Definitely will be using this. Alright. Next card is a really fun one. Darkness spell called Void Bomb. More artwork by Rivals. Destroy a random ally for 0. So you might ask, why is this a darkness card? Can't I just throw this in any deck? Because you're allowed to mix elements. And the reason is that any 0-cost cards requires you to have an avatar of the same type. So then you just don't throw a bunch of Void Bombs in a Draith deck. For example, you can only play this card if you control a Darkness ally. And I love the flavor text. Void magic, the most dangerous magic that was ever created. No one in their right mind would cast a spell like that. I love it. It's so random. Destroy a random ally. If your opponent is the only one with allies, then it's perfect. It kills a random thing on their side for 0. You don't have to spend any mana. This card seems pretty good. Darkness decks haven't had that good of a buff recently. They're a bit slower than the other decks. I'm just going to put this out there right now. Right now, I think, in my personal opinion, that Fire is the strongest deck right now. And then Ice. And then Earth deck with just a bunch of really big, fat allies. Then Air with all their flying stuff. And then Darkness. I think Darkness is probably... Actually, no, I think Air is the worst, and then Darkness is on top. But Void Bomb is just a perfect troll card. I'm going to rate it 4 stars. That card's pretty good. Really trolly. Great comeback material. Love it. Alright, next up. Void Form Crawler, another Darkness card. 400 for 4, Demon. When you summon this ally, discard the top 3 cards of your spellbook. Even if you are running a zombie deck, that is not good. That is terrible. 1 star. Don't use this card. It's pretty trolly. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to level with you. Not that good. Okay, we're going to move on to Air. A legendary for you guys today. Yoto, the Witch Hunter. Legendary Steadfast Human Ninja. 700 attack, 400 health for 6 mana. This ally cannot be targeted by spells or abilities. There's almost no way to get rid of this guy unless your minions attack him. And when your minions attack him, they're all going to die because he has an insane attack value. This card is really good. Earlier, our designers noticed that Air was not that great. All of their Air focuses on allies a lot like Earth, although Air has a bit more high quality stuff, where Earth has more quantity. Yoto the Witch Hunter is perfect. The only way they can get rid of it is for them to hit it with a minion. This is amazing against ice decks and fire decks, the two main powerhouses right now. This is a total underdog card. It is hilarious. J. Frostwalker's ability to put ice counters cannot target this card. You can't Thunder Shock it, you can't Fireball it, you can't Dragonfire Cannon. It's insane. It's really good. 5 stars. This card is bonkers. And the Steadfast ability means every time it attacks, it doesn't exhaust itself. So it can punch your opponent's face for 700 damage and then come right back ready to block an attack coming for your own face. Really good card. Pretty insane. I'm just going to put that out there. That's the only good Air card. I might just build an Air deck just to use that card because it's so good. But the rest of the cards in Air isn't that great. So don't get fooled. This card is insane. It is 5 stars, but the rest of the Air cards are not. Next up, Tornado Superion. This ally's attack and HP is equal to the amount of Air cards in your hand, times 100. So what would happen is that you would have to have a judge or a third person to make sure you're not lying. Don't be a scumbag and lie. Lying is not fun in a game where you have to trust your opponent. But let's say you saved up your hand the entire time, and your entire deck is air. Then that's a 700 for 4. However, if they discard cards from your hand, or you play cards from your hand, its attack and HP go down. So I mean, it's okay. It basically makes sure that you have to kill the Tornado Superion before you actually play anything. Superions are going to be an archetype. There's going to be a Fire Superion, a Darkness Superion, etc., and etc. So I guess the Tornado Superion is okay. It's a quality air. Air cares about a bunch of high quality stuff. So yeah, it's not that great. There aren't many good air cards you want to keep in your hand anyway. So I'll rate it 3-star. Yeah, by itself it seems okay. That's about it. Just seems okay. Now, some of you guys commented saying that Ice was too OP, and you're right. Flash Freeze. Block and attack, and put an Ice counter on its performer. I know I misspelled performer, but that's wah-wah. It happens, okay? You cannot put Ice counters on spells or avatars with Snap. You can play it on your opponent's turn. So here's the funny thing. Dragonfire Cannon says perform a 1000 damage attack. You can Flash Freeze a Dragonfire Cannon. This includes allies. If an ally attacks you for a huge amount of damage and that kills you, you can Flash Freeze and block it. You're going to leave 3 water mana available. You're going to keep 3 mana stones unexhausted for this, which basically is a dead giveaway for your opponent. Your opponent knows you have Flash Freeze, but it's a good card nonetheless. It puts ice counters on the board. It's solid. I like it. Like it a lot. And let's end with everyone's favorite element, apparently, fire, with another insane fire spell, Makeshift Magic. 2 mana to create 3 fire mana. Right off the bat, 3 fire mana for 2 fire mana is pretty good. I mean, it wouldn't be top tier. If we just stopped right there, I would say it's a 2-star card. You get an extra mana. I guess that's cool. But here's the real kicker. Plus 100 fire spell damage till end of turn. Remember Ruju, who also does a similar effect, only makes everything discount. It makes everything cost 1 less. You can combo off, and it's a fire spell, so it goes towards Dragonfire Cannon. Isn't that just insane? By itself, it's not that great. It's a combo piece. And if anyone counters this with, I think it's Diffuse, that's the water card that counters something. If anyone counters this, your combo is ruined. But it's a pretty good card. I'll rate it 3-star. It's not good on its own, and if you draw this card and you have nothing else in your hand, it's pretty garbage. But it's like a magnifying glass from even more powerful stuff. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. So that's the end of this reveal. What did you guys think? Were the cards too OP again? Do you have your own ideas of cards? Maybe if you noticed a weakness in one type and you have an idea of how to fix it, go ahead and leave a comment down below. That would be great. The next video will probably another card spoiler, or we are working on a project online, so that will be coming soon. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, the card game set 2 is probably going to come out in January, late January, because Whispers of Winter is literally an ice age. And in January, it's one of the worst months because everything's frigid cold. So stay tuned for that. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, Evercry TCG out.